Well, hello.
Hi.
It is National Caregivers Day for those folks who didn't know. And of course, we wanted to bring in Kristen here. So tell us a little bit about your story, super unique story, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so my name is Kristen Hinson. I am a registered nurse, and about 2 years ago, I was doing in-home case management for patients, renal patients, and I contracted COVID from one of them. I got COVID-19. I went into respiratory failure, and I had a type 2 non-STEMI, which is a very mild heart attack from the lack of oxygen. So for the next 8 months or so, I was on oxygen. I went to cardiopulmonary rehabilitation at St. Joseph's Hospital, and they were absolutely fantastic. I credit them for getting me off of the oxygen, but after that, they had a job fair, and I ended up working for Carondelet.
Wow.
Because they were so wonderful with me, and just everybody, the whole staff and everything. They were so wonderful. I wanted to be part of that team. So I am now their clinical informatics nurse at St. Mary's and St. Joe's.
What's such a full circle
I know
story.
it is.
really
What's it
is.
like to be on the other side of it, to be a caregiver and then to be somebody who needs somebody to help them on a day-to-day basis? What's it like?
You know, I know there's an old adage that nurses are the worst patients ever, and we really truly are. We're the worst. I was more worried about my patient because he was post-stroke, and I was more concerned about what was going on with him. But because of that, it's just you put yourself, you find yourself in situations where you're closer than you want to be, and unfortunately it's inevitable. We all are exposed to it, and we all get sick, and so I did, and I got sick with gusto. So but it was very, very strange for me to be on the other side of the bed. I'm just not used to that. I'm used to being the one that gives the care. So to be on the other side and to be reliant on other people and to be helpless is it gave me a new perspective on what my patients go through. So
Yeah. I was reading your story a little bit before you came in and when we were reaching out. And one thing that you said is you never realized how important caregivers were. I mean, you were a caregiver, you know what I mean? But actually needing that yourself, they really changed your life.
Well, it really did. I mean, if you think about, I got my start 28 years ago in healthcare as a patient care technician. Actually, before that, as a patient care liaison. So I got my start just kind of wanting to provide that care, and I think it starts there with wanting to make a difference in someone's life by doing something. I'm sure that's where in my little young mind, 20 some odd years ago, that's where I got my start in nursing. So you don't think about the fact that, hey, I might actually need that at some point. But somebody had to take care of me when I was so sick. When I couldn't think, I couldn't eat by myself, I couldn't fix my own meals, somebody had to do that for me. And that's not lost on me. So every single one of our caregivers, they put themselves in the same kind of danger that I was in just briefly as a case manager. They are there, for example, our caregivers that work for the senior care agencies. They go in and they spend time with the seniors in home. They are there taking care of all of their needs, despite their own illnesses, their own concerns. There's just so much to be said for that. That part is not lost on me, and somebody had to do that for me while I was so sick. And I just, I can't say enough for those that provide care. So thank you guys.
I think another part of it too is that, and like TikTok honestly has shown me this side, is that when you see caregivers, they go in, they put on a brave face every single day, and then there's caregivers who will get back in their car and break down in tears because somebody had a bad day or they get this emotional connection to somebody who's maybe in hospice.
Hold.
Yeah. Aside from obviously the risks of getting sick from somebody like you did, the emotional weight that your job has every single day to be that person who's putting on a brave face for somebody else who might not be as brave.
And that's exactly it. It's just, we are, as caregivers, as nurses, as anything, and this is really more about the caregivers because nurses have our own week, but caregivers particularly, because they really do, they really do give everything of themselves, every single thing of themselves. And you're right, I've seen them go through and go out to their cars and break down, and afterwards, because it takes an emotional toll. We're all human, and when you are that involved in someone's well-being, they become a big part of your life.
Yeah.
And to see them suffer or to see them hurt, it's going to take an emotional toll on you. So that part of it, it's the part that I guess we don't really talk as much about. So I'm glad to see that it's getting some recognition for sure.
Absolutely, because I think that you make just as much of an impact on their lives as
Oh,
they do on you.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
sure.
It's just, just humans helping humans. I love it.
Well, you make it sound so simple, but it's it's a very admirable thing that you do every single day.
I don't mean to downplay it because you're absolutely right. It's a huge undertaking, and I feel I personally feel if we're not on this earth to serve others and to help others,
What are we doing here?
what are we doing here?
Exactly.
What, yeah.
No, for
Why are we
sure.
here?
So it is National Caregivers Day, something that we talked about a little bit earlier in, it was in January.
January?
Was
or
it
December?
January?
Yeah, we talked about caregivers and just
We
the
did.
importance heading into the holiday season.
Exactly. And one thing we talked about was it's kind of hard. There's not really a way you can give back. You know what I mean? So just being able to say thank you, I understand, like I'm here for you. Or what would you say if people want to give back to caregivers today? What's something they can do?
Oh gosh, wow.
Isn't
I hadn't
it a
really
little
thought about
hard?
that. That's
It's
kind of-
hard.
How
it
to
kind of puts
how
you on
to
the
care
spot.
for a caregiver.
Yeah.
This is a crazy
101.
thing because I can tell you caregivers don't tend to think of themselves and we don't think, how would I
Exactly.
feel appreciated, because we're, you know, it's just, but yeah, you know, just a thank you. Just
Yeah.
a thank you and an acknowledgement that, hey, you know what, maybe you're having a rough day and I just wanted to say thank you for what you did and
Yeah.
I see you and I hear
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
pleasure.
much.
My
We
pleasure.
appreciate it.